Hey guys, it's Han Hobbies, and this is another Clod Buster upgrade video log. Again, this is just gonna be like a quick little work in progress video. That's why the camera is in my hand instead of like on the tripod like usual. But there's some good news and there's some bad news. So the good news is the body turned out okay. So you can see here I painted it black. It was pretty easy to paint since it's just literally mask up the windows and then paint it black kind of deal. So that was pretty easy to do. I'm waiting for the paint to still kind of fully dry on this at the moment. Once that's done, I'm gonna peel the film off. But meanwhile, while I was waiting for that, I managed to get these servo mounts in, and immediately I have a few issues. So I paid $40 for this on eBay. It was designed and 3D printed by somebody else, like obviously on eBay. What it came with are these two plates, or four of these plates for both axles, and then this little post here for the bottom brace. And it came with all the correct hardware for it. So that was all nice. And fitting them on, mostly it fit on the axle okay. My complaints though are the 3D print isn't as great as it could have been. You can see kind of here on this bottom post. That's a pretty focus. That's a pretty, I don't know why it won't focus, but that's a pretty rough print. You can see it's supposed to be a round post, but it's like very flat, very rough. You can tell this is where it was sitting on the print bed, because it's very flat there and very rough, and just overall doesn't look very good. And also, the hole for it is, because the whole post isn't printed very accurately. The whole post isn't very accurate, so you can see it's spinning around, because the screws actually can't thread in here. And obviously, by the design of it, you have to use self tappers, and you just can't. Um, Even if you do put a screw in here, it's just gonna pull right out. You're gonna have to use a much bigger screw for this, and at that point you might actually crack the whole piece. So not very happy about that. I'll have to probably replace this with something else, maybe like a metal post or just a screw or something. But even before that, I have a couple other issues. One of the major issues is, you can see I have the servo mounted to the front here, and the servo mount itself, it's pretty good. It all bolts on pretty well. You just get some nuts on and some fine thread machine screws and some washers, and it's pretty easy to mount. This is how the pictures on eBay told you to mount it, with the servo horn going backwards. So that shouldn't be too hard. I just have to change out this link for a slightly longer one, so it'll actually reach the servo horn. But my main issue though is it fits, but if you're using the stock chassis like I'm trying to, it doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. So you can see it fits, and it's got the articulation like it's supposed to, but already as it's articulating, you're noticing this issue. This part of the chassis that like bows down slams on the top of the servo, and that's not even it at full compression either. You can see the spacers on the spring, they're nowhere close to full compression, and it's just slamming onto that servo. I guess you could mitigate that. You could fix that by using a low profile servo, but the problem with having a low profile servo is low profile servos definitely won't have enough torque to turn these huge meats. So I'm kind of annoyed at this, honestly, because $40, yeah, it's not that much money considering this is a pretty expensive truck, but I'm pretty disappointed in it for my application. If it had fit fine and it was just this little post issue, I would have been able to let it slide. But for my application, it just simply doesn't work. If you do have an aftermarket chassis where this whole bit is like open, and that's, I'm assuming what this guy designed it for, because otherwise he would have noticed this issue right away. So, for anyone that's interested after watching this, I will leave a link in the description for the servo mount. But if you are using the stock chassis, this just simply won't work. I'm gonna try to tinker with it a little bit more and see if I can get it to work. If not, I'm just gonna have to just go back to the stock setup, I guess. For anyone who hasn't seen a Super Clod Buster, this is one of the main differences in the Super Clod Buster from the Clod Buster. Is it includes this simple little aluminum plate that keeps this whole area from cracking and snapping like it used to on the original Clod Buster. I believe this part is apparently also on the Bullhead. So other people just have made their own homemade ones, but I'm glad this one came with it. But anyway, that's a major issue I'm having right now. So I will post another video with more with updates as I go. So I'm back. It's like past midnight now. It's almost 1 o'clock, and my cat's on my lap purring away because he's telling me it's time for bed, and I agree because I'm tired. So, but I'm pretty content with where I am now. The body fits nice. I initially didn't like this teardrop shape, like cut fender, but seeing it on the actual truck now and also in black, it doesn't look half bad. So that turned out pretty well. I do still have to paint this racer back though because I forgot to paint that. But that should look pretty cool when it's painted. A couple notes about the body. I did have to use a different front body mount because it needs to be the same height as the rear, because this body just is basically a flat line all the way across, whereas the original body, you can see, has a recessed bed, so the rear body mounts are shorter than the front. You can see the stock body mount here, and you can't really adjust these obviously, so I just put the CC01 body mounts. You also use it on some other Tamiya cars, I don't remember which, but that's where I got these from. And then put some a nut and a screw on the innards, so it'll still hold this brace on nice and tight. I know the screws are kind of long, but that's all I had, so that's what's on there for now. I also put foam on this bumper mount because my one complaint about this body is for it to fit properly, it does have to, like, this front Lexan bumper has to basically press up against these plastic bumper mounts, and what will happen as you drive and like this car shakes around, it's gonna eventually scrape off all the paint from where it touches. So I just put some foam there so it won't scrape it off as quickly. The major thing though is right here. I figured out how to mount this and actually use this thing I paid for. And I was actually gonna give up on it, but I thought about it, just kind of looked at it, messed with it a little bit more, and it wasn't too hard to do. I just put a little spacer down there, just the little brass bits. I also have an extra black, like, plastic spacer in there, just space it a little bit more. So now when it actually compresses, the shocks will actually bottom out before it hits the top of the servo. You can really, if you really squeeze it, you can get it to slam on the top of the servo, but you have to be really squeezing it for it to do that. And then I had to swap these little brass ball stud things. The taller one used to be on the top and the shorter one used to be on the bottom, but I just flipped it around because the servo is sitting a little lower than it used to. And the horn is off of my Red Cat Volcano. I just cut it up slightly and mounted it. It fits perfectly well. And then you can see the bottom one. This is still the stock steering link, but I did bend it. It it's really soft metal, so it's really easy to bend. But I bent it so it'll fit this a little nicer. And overall, I think it looks pretty nice. I also didn't like initially how the bumper was mounted up much higher than compared to stock, but with the body on it, it actually makes it look kind of tough. So, uh, I think I actually kind of like it like this. So I'm getting a little happier about my purchase on this servo mount. As long as it stands up and is durable. I'll still have to figure something out for this bottom brace post thing, but the rear doesn't have a servo horn on it right now because I do have one. I believe I can pilfer it out of my old Exceed RC car. That's basically the same thing, but it's in the garage and it's late, and I don't really feel like going all the way out there, and taking it apart and pilfering it, and then messing with this thing for another hour because I really need to get to bed, but. That'll be done tomorrow. I have everything pretty well planned out for tomorrow, so I should be making a lot more progress. I'm assuming, I'm guessing I'll be able to finish the actual mechanical bit of this upgrade by tomorrow. The body, I'm not gonna peel the little film off until the MCI decals do come in. Those decals usually take a little while to come in because I believe it is just one guy doing the whole thing. So, but it is worth the wait. So I'll just have to wait for that. I'll also have to change the receiver because the receiver now is not good enough. This is only 2 channels and I need at least 3. So I'll need to pilfer another receiver from something. And this ESC might not hold up either, the stock one, because it was already having voltage issues like intermittently with just the one servo. So now with 2 servos, it might be going into short circuit, freaking out. I don't know. I'll have to test it. But for now, that's my little update. The build is coming along pretty well. It looks pretty good, and I can't wait to work on it tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching this quick little vlog. I won't do my usual outro stuff because it is just a vlog, but yep, if anyone watched this one, thanks for watching like always, and I'll see you guys next time.